Madam President and friends, I do not think that I should apologize to you for having to speak in a foreign tongue. I wonder if this loudspeaker carries my voice to the farthest end of this vast audience. Will some of those who are far away will raise their hands if they listen to what I am saying? Do you listen? All right. Well, if my voice doesn't carry, it won't be my fault. It will be the fault of the loudspeaker. But I was going to tell you that I don't need to apologize. I dare not, if all the delegates who have assembled from the various parts of Asia and observers, I learnt the word from the lips of an American friend. He said, I am no delegate, I am an observer. Thinking that he hailed from Persia, from my very few moments, I promised that he would lo and behold, an American stands in front of me, and I told him I dread you, and I wish you would leave me alone. Do you imagine that an American would leave me alone? Not he. And therefore, I had to speak to him. But I was going to tell you that my provincial speech, which is my mother tongue, you can't understand, and I don't want to insult you by insisting on the provincial speech. The national speech, Hindustani. I know that it will be a long time before it can be rival an international speech. If there is rivalry between French and English. For international commerce, undoubtedly, English occupies the first place. For the diplomatic speech and correspondence, I used to hear when I was studying in my boyhood that French was the language of diplomacy. And if you wanted to go from one end of Europe to the other end, you must try to pick up French. And so I tried to pick up a few words of French in order that I might be able to make myself understood. Anyway, if there is any rivalry at all, the rivalry lies between French and English. Therefore, having been taught English, naturally I have to resort to speaking to you to that international speech. I was wondering what I was to speak to you. I wanted to collect my thoughts, but let me confess to you that I have no time, and yet I have promised yesterday that I will try to say a few words to you. While I was coming with Basha Khan, I asked for a little piece of paper and pencil. I got a pen instead of a pencil. I tried to scribble a few words. You will be sorry to hear from me that piece of paper is not by my side. But that is nothing. I remembered what I wanted to think out. And I said to myself, you friends have seen not the real India, and you are not meeting in conference in the midst of real India. Delhi, Bombay, Madras, Calcutta, Lahore, all these are big cities, and therefore, having come under the influence of the West, having been made also, may be perhaps accepted, having been, but not using, having been made also by the English. I then thought of a little essay, I suppose I should call it, which was in French. It was translated for me by an Anglo-French friend. And he was a philosopher. He was also an unselfish man. And he said he befriended me without my having known him, because he always sided with the minority. And I was, that is my countrymen, in a hopeless minority. Not only hopeless minority, but a despised minority. If the Europeans of South Africa will forgive me for saying so. And we were all coolies. I was an insignificant coolie lawyer. At that time, we had no coolie doctors. We had no coolie lawyers. I was the first in the field. Nevertheless, a coolie. You know perhaps what is meant by the word coolie. But this friend, his name was Scott. His mother was a French woman. His father was an Englishman. And he said, I want to translate for you a French story. You will pardon me, those of you who know this story, if I make mistakes in recording it here and there. But there will be no mistake in the many incidents. There were 3 scientists, and they, of course, it is an imaginary story. 3 scientists went out from France, went out of Europe in search of truth. That was the first lesson that story taught me. That if truth was to be searched, it was not to be found on the side of Europe. Therefore, undoubtedly not in America. These 3 great scientists went to different parts of Asia. One of them found his way to India, and he began his search. He went to the so-called cities of those times. Naturally, this was before British occupation. Before even the Mughal period. That is how the French author has illustrated the story. But still, he went to the cities. He saw the so-called high caste people, men and women. Till at last, he penetrated a humble cottage in a humble village, and that cottage was a Bhangi cottage. And he found the truth that he was in search of in that Bhangi cottage, in the Bhangi family, man, woman, perhaps 2 or 3 children. I speak here under correction. And then he describes how he found it. I omit all that here. I want to connect that story with what I want to say to you, that if you really want to see India at its best, you have to find it in a Bhangi cottage.